Om Shanti, our awareness today that we will practice is I, the soul, am an instrument of God. And this is a very useful awareness to hold because it helps us with this big question of what is the purpose of life? Why am I the soul here in this body? What am I supposed to be doing? What could I gain? Where am I going? Etc. They're big questions, and it's useful to contemplate these questions. But if we can hold the awareness of being an instrument, I, the soul, am an instrument. Now, I, the soul, also have an instrument, which is the body. But at this point, I want to look at the awareness that I, the soul, am an instrument of God. And this helps ground us because an instrument has a purpose. You wouldn't see an instrument that had no purpose. Scissors is an instrument, and the purpose is to cut. A hammer is an instrument, and the purpose is to pound nails. So we can see what different instruments look like, and we can immediately see what their purpose is. But the soul can't be seen. So we have to say, what would if I'm a soul and I'm an instrument, what would the spiritual purpose of the soul be? Now, I might have an additional purpose through this body. So, for example, my purpose might be to teach meditation through the body. But the eternal soul also has a purpose. And if I think about the purpose of the soul, it helps me remember that I'm a soul. Now, if I say I'm God's instrument, then I have to say, well, what is God's task, or what does God want, or what is God's purpose, if you will? My purpose would be tied to God's purpose. And so we see God as a being of absolute goodness, a being of absolute benevolence, a being who is always sharing, never judging, um, never cutting anyone off. Everyone is included in God's love. If we can understand God that way, then as an instrument of God, my purpose would have to be something that aligns with God's purpose. So if God is the being of flawless love, the being who we can completely trust because this being is always benevolent, and the being who shares spiritual energy that helps us, if this is who God is, then as God's instrument, my purpose would be very similar. My purpose would be to explore and um, make good use of all of the qualities of the soul, to make spiritual reality manifest in the material world by doing things with love and with cooperation, with feelings of peace. So that would be my purpose as an instrument. Now, we also have occupations and families and many things that we do through the body. However, we can fulfill the purpose of the soul at the same time we're doing things through the body. And actually, we have to have a body to be an instrument. You've got to make an impact on the material world as an instrument. And so, if God is the being who spreads spiritual light, who illuminates the world of souls with spiritual light, then that would be my purpose as an instrument, to bring spiritual light into everything that I do. Spiritual light meaning performing actions out of love, even thinking out of love, having good wishes for others, having lots and lots of self-respect because I'm a divine being. I'm a child of God. Any way that we can spread spiritual light into the world, we're fulfilling our role as an instrument of God. So, this is what we will practice together today. I, the soul, am an instrument of God. And as an instrument, my purpose, or you could say my function, is to spread spiritual light. To begin with, take a few deep, easy breaths. Watch the air enter and leave the lungs. Notice how quiet and easy the breath is. If the mind has been thinking a lot or thinking rapidly, or answers aren't coming as quickly as they could, and the mind gets cluttered. And so we simply watch the simplicity of the breath, the quiet simplicity, and watching the breath brings the mind back towards stillness. Bring your awareness now to the little being of light that you are. I am the amazing soul who lives in this body. I'm the tiniest thing there is, and yet the most powerful. I can think, I can plan, I can decide, I can implement, I can change. All of these abilities of consciousness are within the soul. And also within the soul, the core qualities: peace, love, purity, power, bliss. The abilities of consciousness and the spiritual qualities. So I'm quite an amazing instrument. And my abilities of consciousness help me get things done in the world. And my spiritual qualities add the ingredient of spiritual light to my actions. I am a spiritual being, a soul living in this body. My nature is peace. And when I use my body peacefully, even when I use the mind supported by the brain peacefully, I'm integrating spirit and matter. I'm spreading spiritual light into the world of matter. And as an instrument of God, I want to spread lots of spiritual light. The world needs lots of spiritual light. I can do this when I'm thinking, by thinking peacefully. I can do it in action by performing my actions happily. I can do it in interaction with other people by respecting the soul within each body, giving regard, listening, acknowledging. These are all ways that I can spread spiritual light. And maybe the simplest way is simply through the power of thought. See yourself as a being a pure being of peace and love, and see yourself radiating the light of peace and love, naturally radiating, and let that light spread. Whatever your community or your neighborhood is, it needs more peace and love. People will do better with more peace and love. See that energy of peace and love penetrating every home in your neighborhood. It's a subtle spiritual light. And now see that light of peace and love continuing to travel. And now it's traveling all over the world. I fill the world with the light of peace and love. Now visualize yourself later today at a time when you will be active, physically active, whatever activities you will be doing. See yourself also at the same time radiating the light of peace and love. And now see yourself in the company of someone you know you will be interacting with later today. And see yourself respecting the soul inside the body, soul or souls, if it's more than one person. And see yourself giving regard to the souls, listening, acknowledging. And this is a way of spreading spiritual light. See yourself now filling the body with spiritual light. The body needs lots of spiritual energy to perform well. Whole body filled with subtle spiritual light. See yourself now as separate from the body and just focus your attention on the soul. So you're not connecting with the material world right now, but with your inner vision, the eye of understanding, see yourself a tiny being of light in a vast dimension of light. And within that dimension of light, see yourself fly to the home of light. The home of silence. And see yourself in the silent company of the supremely benevolent being, the one who very generously radiates light, always spreads spiritual light. Let yourself absorb that light, and that light is filled with whatever quality or qualities you may need today or right now. All qualities exist within the light of God. Let yourself be filled with light. Then bring your awareness back into the present moment. See yourself as having a subtle purpose, which is always with you, in addition to the many and varied purposes that you engage in at different times during the day. One spiritual purpose: as a soul, I'm an instrument of God, and my purpose is to spread spiritual light into the material world. Om Shanti. And now your blessing for today is support. As a worthy of worship soul, you act as an advocate of dreams and a creator of opportunities. As a worthy of worship soul, you act as a advocate. You act as an advocate of dreams and a creator of opportunities. Support. Such a beautiful role to play, to be of support to the world. Thank you all for joining, and have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Shushan, do you want to talk about coming next weekend? You can stay on a little bit if you want to.
Sounds great.
Okay.
So,
We could also, I'll end this call and then you can join again, okay? I'll end it.
I can,
I will, should we have a phone call? Would that be easier for you?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can I give you my phone number?
Sure. I'm ready.
773
Uh-huh.
698
Uh-huh.
6339.
6339.
Correct.
I have 773-698-6339.
Yeah. So give me a call, okay? And I'll go get the phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.